Euromaxx highlights, coming up on the show. Female touch. Sandra Naujoks from Berlin is the new European Poker Champion. Urban makeover. Soon to come, a vibrant European quarter in Brussels. Stylish challenge. Learn how to walk in high heel shoes. Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Karen Helmstedt.
Hello there, and a warm welcome to our highlights of the week, which included the newest album from British pop band Depeche Mode. Sounds of the Universe is the title, and critics were already giving the thumbs up earlier this week as once again the one-time trailblazers of the new wave era do not disappoint. Great songwriting with trademark vocals from lead singer Dave Gahan, and with their new single, they did everything right.
Wrong is the first single from Depeche Mode's latest album.
I was marching to the wrong drum, the wrong scum, missing out the wrong energy, using all the wrong lines and the wrong signs.
The new single gives a good indication of the dark nature of most of the songs on the group's 12th studio album. Fans have had to wait 4 long years to hear the new material.
I interpret them as looking at my part in situations. And they can be everyday situations or situations that are happening in the world. And quite often how I feel about that is how I use my voice. You know, I kind of want to draw you into the song.
And once again, he succeeds in drawing listeners into Depeche Mode's world of pain and suffering, like here at the Echo Awards in Berlin. While the lyrics have remained constant thematically, their latest album sets new standards for Depeche Mode.
I think that this record is different to all of our other records, and maybe they're all slightly different. You know, I think some maybe have a bit more of a, you know, kind of a twin feel or something, but not really. I think they all have an identity, and you know, I think that this one just fits in the kind of the history, really. I mean, it seems to fit neatly in with the history of the rest of the stuff that we've done.
And Depeche Mode have accomplished a lot since coming together in Basildon on the outskirts of London in 1980. In 1984, People Are People went to the top of the pop charts, making the band internationally famous. From then, the synth-pop pioneers have gone from strength to strength, churning out hit singles and albums. And the band continues to develop.
I think that the interaction, for me personally, with Martin has changed quite a bit. I feel more confident about my ideas, and I also feel really good I feel like those ideas are really heard, and quite often I witness them coming to life, and that always feels good.
Dave Gahan first became a co-writer on the group's last album, Playing the Angel, contributing songs like the Grammy-nominated hit single Suffer Well. And in another departure, this time around, Depeche Mode will only play huge stadiums.
For me, there's not really much of a difference once you get beyond a certain number of people at a concert. You know, maybe that sounds a bit, you know, I don't know, blasé, a bit crass, but, you know, I mean, you can only see a certain, you know, beyond a certain point. And in some ways, it gets less scary the bigger it goes. When we play warm-up shows, like, you know, when we played at the Roxy, and, you know, there's like 300 people, and there are people like, you know, there looking at, you know, on top of you, watching you play a keyboard or watching you play the guitar and, look, you know, studying your hands. That's far scarier.
But Martin Gore should have nothing to fear about the group's upcoming mega tour, which kicks off in May. The aptly titled Tour of the Universe will have the band giving 70 concerts in 30 countries. For Depeche Mode, the world really is not enough.
I've got to get to Universe. It's just a question of time.
Nor is it enough for Germany's Sandra Naujoks, who was recently crowned Europe's best player at the poker tables. Well, back in the old days, the game of poker was the ruin of many a man, but in the 21st century, it's become a regular sport. Naujoks is the second ever woman to become European champion, and at just 27, she's shelved her job as a graphic artist to travel the casino circuit. We caught up with her in between trips here in Berlin.
Even in a non-competitive match, Sandra Naujoks' determination never wavers. In the time she has between major tournaments, she plays poker privately. She appears introverted, but maintains total control. Plus, she profits from being one of the few women on the international poker circuit.
Women have an advantage because they don't have such an ego problem. Men get caught up in ego battles. You wait for the right moment and then pounce, and then the other guy has to leave the table.
Last August, she was crowned European champion, and in March of this year, she won the European Tour and more than 900,000 euros.
I let my rivals move first, and I watch how they're playing their hands, and what hands they're playing, and in which position. The position matters a lot in poker. You can tell pretty quickly if someone feels good about their hand or not.
A survey has shown that sheer luck is the deciding factor in only 25% of matches won. Most wins are down to strategy and perseverance.
A typical tournament lasts 4 or 5 days, and every day competitors play continuously for 12, 13 hours. You're at the table the whole time playing cards. And being able to maintain your concentration over such a long period is what makes a good poker player. A lot of people don't have the necessary endurance. They're too emotional.
Sandra Naujoks' career began 4 years ago. She started playing poker on the internet and taught herself strategy as well as methods for calculating her chances. Her meticulous study of the game has now made her a millionaire.
You need discipline to win. You wait if you have to. You also need financial discipline. You can only play if you have the bankroll. Discipline, discipline, discipline. It's the priority. That's how you win at poker.
Sandra Naujoks will be putting her discipline to the test at upcoming tournaments in Sanremo and Monte Carlo. But they're merely warm-ups for the real deal. This summer, Sandra Naujoks, known as Black Mamba, will be off to Las Vegas to compete for the world title.
And no doubt she makes quite an impression with all her piles of chips, especially when the casino dress code happens to call for formal dress with high heels. Well, it just so happens that treacherously high heels are back in fashion this season. We're talking dizzying heights of up to 15 centimeters. But for women who've never donned or dared to don this kind of footwear before, it's a good idea to get some practice, and here's one way to do it.
Up, up and away. Heels are scaling the heights this year. Whether on the catwalks of Milan and Paris, or in the shop windows of deluxe department stores, 10 centimeters is the minimum. It looks great, but really, can anyone walk in them?
Many customers try them on just to see if they can stand in heels that high. But unfortunately, not many people can actually walk in them.
Often the rude awakening comes as soon as you put them on. Staggering, tottering and wobbling, it hurts and looks awful. A dance studio in Berlin can teach you a more elegant mode of locomotion. Ballet dancer Ksenia Kotina adores her high heels and rarely goes anywhere without them.
High heels look just great. They look feminine and sexy. I live with them. I walk on them. I dance on them. I even take the trash out in them.
A life on 14-centimeter heels. How does she do it? Ksenia Kotina passes on her skills in high-heel walking courses. Women from all over Germany attend them, bringing along their favorite stilettos.
They look elegant and sexy if you know how to walk in them, so that's why we want to learn.
Ksenia Kotina starts her workshops with a precise analysis of her students' errors. The problems are often the same.
Many people look a bit frightened, and when they walk you can see they have their shoulders tilted too far forward, so that their backs aren't straight, and their feet wobble a lot.
But nobody has to be afraid of walking in high heels. It's like any sport. You need a bit of training, starting with warm-up exercises and getting used to your equipment. Then comes some stretching.
In my classes, I've put together a lot of what I've learned from ballet and point shoe classes, from my own experience, and coupled them with anatomical information.
Targeted exercises strengthen the foot muscles. Wearing high heels shifts your center of gravity forwards, so you have to compensate to keep your balance. And for more advanced students, there's walking in high heels with a handbag. After the course, the participants can really strut their stuff on the way home. They've learned a lot.
To strengthen my leg muscles and watch my posture.
Tilt the pelvis forward.
Chest high, but avoid a sway back.
Almost all the exercises in the 3-hour workshop can be done at home, and they should be, because practice makes perfect. With the proper technique, any woman can walk in high heels. And if she's really ambitious, try to compete with the professionals in a stiletto run.
And now for something completely different. What could Oliver Cromwell, physicist Stephen Hawking, writer Salman Rushdie and actress Emma Thompson possibly have in common? They are all graduates of Cambridge University, the second oldest university in the English-speaking world. Now, Cambridge was founded back in 1209, apparently after a squabble between students and townspeople in neighbouring Oxford, which means this year it marks 800 years of higher education.
Right now, the focus in Cambridge is on classical music. For a whole week, the university's famous student choirs will be performing in historical venues during the Cambridge Cantat 800 Festival, marking the birthday of one of the world's most prestigious educational institutions.
Choral music in Cambridge is perhaps one of the greatest of artistic resources that Cambridge University has to offer. Its college choirs are well known throughout the world through their tours and recordings. But it was a very nice opportunity this festival provides to see them all on their home territory, let's say.
The town will be celebrating the anniversary all year long. The university, with its magnificent buildings, has reason enough to be proud of its past. Some of the world's most important scientific minds studied here. Like Isaac Newton. In his honor, an apple tree now grows on the spot where he formulated his law of gravity. The naturalist Charles Darwin also studied here. But an unusual number of artists are also Cambridge graduates. The ADC Theatre is home to the Cambridge University Amateur Dramatic Club. Such well-known actresses as Tilda Swinton and Emma Thompson performed here as students. So did actor, comedian and writer Stephen Fry and comedian Sacha Baron Cohen.
There's no drama school in Cambridge, there's no drama course in Cambridge, and the people who are putting on the plays here, the actors, the directors, the technicians, are all doing so on top of their other studies. Means that the people who are coming out of the ADC Theatre have spent 3 years learning the hard way about box office, about marketing, about what audiences want to see and what audiences don't want to see, and what works on a theatre stage and what doesn't work on a theatre stage. In short, it's the practical experience of doing theatre that means that our alumni have been so successful.
Some 18,000 people are now studying at Cambridge. Until the 1960s, that privilege was largely reserved to an upper-class elite. Nowadays, students from around the world and all social classes enjoy the educational opportunities and creative atmosphere it offers.
A friend of mine, she was saying that when she's revising and she's feeling uninspired, she will go into town and walk through the old colleges, and you sort of, it's a bit daunting. You think, oh, Darwin, or you think about whoever, but it's also quite inspiring, and it can motivate you and scare you as well. Yeah. I think.
As you see, this is a historical town, and with a lot of famous people and a lot of great architectures around you. And under the surface, on the surface, it's like a peaceful environment, full of tranquility, and you feel the sense of peacefulness when you study here. But under that, it's a kind of vibrant student life.
Cambridge is a university with many facets and a venerable history, a mixture that inspires not just scholarship but creativity as well.
Well, creativity will certainly be a top priority when it comes to revamping the European quarter in Brussels. Many tourists are disappointed to learn that the main EU headquarters are located in a charmless concrete administrative ghetto, and there's not much life at all after closing time. But the good news is the entire quarter is slated for a massive makeover that could take up to 15 years. Euromaxx got the lowdown on the plans.
8 a.m. Rush hour on the Rue de la Loi. A cavalcade of cars stampedes the Belgian capital every morning. Most commuters driving into Brussels end up here, at the administrative offices both of Belgium and the European Union.
I come here for work and that's all. I mean, I don't want to live in the city center.
There is so much noise here, and no, I don't like it.
I don't think there are many solutions to all of these cars in Brussels.
The problem is that a motorway flows right into this area at the heart of Europe's capital. Right next to the headquarters of the European Council and the EU Commission. The city wants to change the image of the area. And this is the man who's been picked to do it, Paris-based architect Christian de Portzamparc. The 1994 Pritzker Prize winner is a part of the team that won an international urban design competition to give a new face to Brussels' European quarter.
This could be an extremely lively place. Over here you have the old historical part. Over here you have the more recent history. Here you have the big newer buildings, the first generation of Europe. And here you could have an avenue with a different philosophy that blends the past and the future. This is a place where the classical city turns into a metropolis. I'm interested in a place where you can have a vertical rise.
The idea is to build high-rises which would free up new space below, with green recreational areas instead of congested traffic arteries, and providing 200,000 square meters of new office space, a €1 billion project. Christian de Portzamparc has plenty of experience with skyscrapers. He built the LVMH Tower in New York and the Tour Granit in Paris. The Philharmonie Concert Hall in Luxembourg is one of the architect's most prestigious projects. Portzamparc sees himself as an urbanist. He wants his buildings to be living spaces, like this complex in Almere in the Netherlands. He calls his building concept open block, a mixture of businesses, offices and apartments, and that's what he wants for Brussels.
A single building doesn't function all by itself. The city is a sum of multiple phenomena, but these are also phenomena of space. We know how to make good buildings, but we can't be sure of making good neighborhoods. But throughout history, all our European cities have shown the ability to develop lively neighborhoods that undergo transformations.
The appearance of the first European institutional buildings in Brussels in the 1960s marked the start of what was to become the lifeless EU quarter. The Rue de la Loi was already the Belgian capital's principal thoroughfare. Today, the heart of Europe is dominated by traffic. Its famous buildings go largely unnoticed.
I think it would be a good image if the place that represents Europe were not the Commission building, but a whole neighborhood. That would be a wonderful image. The European Quarter, a lovely image because it's a lively one. You'd have people saying, let's go have lunch in the European Quarter.
This may become the new face of Europe, but it's likely to be another 15 years before the cars make way for the new shops, cafes and residences. Then visitors will be able to stroll along the Rue de la Loi on foot instead of four wheels.
And finally, no makeovers necessary for Natalia Vodianova, who's one of Europe's most beautiful and sought-after faces. The 27-year-old Russian is a top model for both photo and runway work, and she's also one with a refreshingly down-to-earth approach. She already has 3 young children and is just coming into her best years. We met up with her in Paris.
Here in Paris, Natalia Vodianova is presenting her first lingerie collection. The supermodel is swarmed by photographers. She's the center of attention everywhere she goes. And no wonder. The Russian beauty is promoting many famous luxury brands, from Chanel to Louis Vuitton, and is gracing the covers of the biggest fashion magazines. Vodianova looks a bit like the late German actress Romy Schneider and has a dazzling smile. An agent spotted her a decade ago in Russia. He sent the then 17-year-old girl to the fashion capital, Paris.
I just didn't really had much to lose back in Russia, so for me it was very natural to be excited about any opportunity, and especially, you know, becoming a model, going to Paris.
Her courage paid off. Vodianova became a much sought-after catwalk model and signed a 3-year exclusive contract with Calvin Klein in 2003. But then her fairy tale career took a rather unusual turn. She met and married English artist Lord Justin Portman. They have 3 children who are now 7, 3, and 1.5. Supermodel and mother of 3, Natalia Vodianova is quite an exception in the fashion industry.
I'm a very normal person, you know, I have a very normal life. I'm a mother of 3 children and I work. For me, it's not so glamorous because I'm the one who has to work and who has to do everything, and in fact, it's, you know, it can be quite hard.
But doing double duty hasn't hurt her career in the slightest. The 27-year-old mother still looks like a young girl and is busier than ever. She's said to have earned 5 million euros last year alone.
Unlike other models who take a year or 18 months off when they get pregnant, Natalia never really stopped working. She just kept going. She had her first child and went back to work, and it was the same with the second and third one.
Even more incredibly, after giving birth to 3 children, Natalia Vodianova is still as slender as an elf, and she says she doesn't even have to diet.
My mom, she always had very good figure. It's hereditary too. I'm just running around all the time, and also with, you know, 3 children. It's running after them and just being with them.
While many other stars try to keep their private life private, Natalia Vodianova takes her family with her as often as she can, whether to a reception by fashion designer Valentino or a photo shoot for German clothing chain Peek & Cloppenburg. Here, her husband and children quickly turn into models too.
with the kids, especially the little ones. Sometimes it can be hard, but if people are very kind and if they understand that the children are not robots and they're not, you know, really models, then it all just goes very smoothly.
Like just about everything in Natalia Vodianova's life. And she also has a good heart. To date, her foundation Naked Heart has raised some 5 million euros to help needy Russian children. So it's no wonder Vodianova's nickname is Supernova.
And don't forget, you can check out all of our highlights reports on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/Deutsche-Welle English. That's all one word. And you can enjoy any of them again. Hope you enjoyed the show the first time round. That's all for this time. Until we meet again. Ciao and auf Wiedersehen.